Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with TV Euphoric, and this is day 12 of the 80 Days to Your Dream Body course. Today's protein source is going to be herring, and today is going to be a chest workout. And right now, I'm going to be taking you through the full chest stretching routine that you're going to perform after you finish training chest. Let's get started. And this brings us to the stretching routine. For the stretching routine, I've got 3 stretches for you guys. We're going to be focusing on the pectoralis major, the anterior deltoid, and the triceps brachii. With regard to the first stretch, the pectoralis major, we are going to be performing a PNF stretching exercise for the pectoralis major. For myself, I'm going to be using these strength bands right over here. If you don't have strength bands, you could either use a yoga block, or if you don't have a yoga block, you could even go in between a door frame and use the door frame to do the PNF. But for myself, I'm going to be using these strength bands. What you would want to do is anchor it on some type of column, and then you would want to go with your back facing the column, and you would want to get one arm inside each of the handles. Then from this position right over here, what we are going to do is just imagine you are doing a fly. So you're just going to reach forward so that you get a nice pec stretch. You want to retract and depress the scapula, and we are going to maintain that for 10 seconds. We're going to contract, so do a fly. You're going to hold that for 6 seconds. Once 6 seconds has passed, exhale, relax, get deeper into it. We're going to hold that for 10 seconds. Then once 10 seconds has passed, we're going to repeat it again. We're going to go into a pec fly, so squeeze those arms together. We're really activating the pecs, the anterior deltoids. After 6 seconds, exhale, relax, get deeper into it. And got to be careful with that spotting arm over there because it's getting into a spot where I don't want it to get to. And now we're going to do one more time. We're going to flex, so we're going to contract that pec. Hold that for 6 seconds, relax, get into the stretch. And we are going to hold this final one for 20 seconds. As usual with the PNF, contract for 6, hold for 10, contract for 6, relax for 10, contract for 6. And on the final one, we are relaxing for 20 seconds. And that feels like it was about 20 seconds right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and slowly back off. Next is going to be the anterior deltoid. For the anterior deltoid, once again, we are going to be performing a PNF stretching exercise for the anterior deltoid, and we could just stick to the positioning that we are in right now. So what we would want to do is place the strength bands in between the crooks of the elbow, and then because the anterior deltoid is responsible for flexion, medial rotation, and abduction, what we would want to do is we are going to go into a combination of flexion and medial rotation and adduction by squeezing the arms in and rounding the shoulders forward. So we're just going to get a nice stretch. So we want to go into lateral rotation, squeeze those shoulder blades together, and now we're going to do our first PNF. So we're going to contract, bring the arms forward, rotate in, and squeeze into the arm, or squeeze your arms into your body. And then exhale, relax after 6 seconds. And we're going to hold that for 10 seconds. Once 10 seconds has passed, we're going to contract again. So flex, medial rotation, squeeze the arms to the inside of the body to force that adduction, the abduction. After 6 seconds, relax. Let that chest open up. Rotate those arms out. That way we could get maximum stretch on the anterior deltoid. And we're going to do it one more time. So we're going to bring the arms forward, rotate in, squeeze together. To do the medial rotation, you could even use your palms and place your palms and push into your hips. And then exhale, relax. And on this final one, we're going to hold it for 20 seconds. One additional thing you could do is really round out the spine. By rounding out the spine, we're placing greater myofascial tension on the abdominal cavity, which inserts into the pectoralis major, which inserts into the shoulder. So by extension, we're creating greater myofascial tension on the anterior aspect of the shoulder and getting a better stretch in the anterior deltoid. And I think that was more than 20 seconds, so we are going to move on to the final stretch. The final stretch is going to be for the triceps brachii. For the triceps brachii, what we want to do is we are going to get into a seated position, and we're going to be kneeling. So we're going to be kneeling and sitting down onto our calves. For this one right over here, I'm going to use these lovely, comfortable crash pads because it's way more comfortable than kneeling on the turf. We want to sit down onto our calves, and then this one is specifically going to focus on the long head of the triceps brachii. Because the long head of the triceps brachii is responsible for also shoulder extension, what we want to do is we are going to go up and overhead. We are going to go into maximum flexion, And then with the elbow, we want to imagine that we are pushing the elbow up toward the sky and pulling the elbow across with this arm. Because we're focusing on the long head, we're not going into supination or pronation. We want to keep a neutral position. So we're not doing supination, we're not doing pronation, neutral. But again, we're gonna go ahead, sit down onto our calves, and we've got 30 seconds starting now. So you really want to focus on pulling the arm across, projecting it backward as much as you can, and push that elbow up toward the sky. So you're actively pressing the elbow up toward the sky. You also want to maintain as much retroversion of the pelvis as possible. That way we can create some tension on the thoracolumbar fascia, which is going to transfer into the latissimus dorsi, which is going to create greater myofascial tension along the posterior aspect of the shoulder. And now we're going to relax. Let's just pause this. And we've got 30 seconds starting now. So once again, arm up and over, pull that elbow across, push the elbow back, and then actively press your elbow up toward the sky. You should be feeling a nice stretch all along the long head of the triceps. We got 5 seconds left. And slowly come out of it. We're going to do the other side. 30 seconds starting now. So pull that elbow across. You could also use your head to get further into flexion by pushing your head back and projecting that elbow posteriorly, and actively push your elbow up toward the sky. You also want to make sure that you're getting as much flexion in the elbow as possible, because the triceps is responsible for elbow extension. So if we want to maximally stretch it, we need to get maximal flexion of the elbow. And relax. 30 seconds on the other side starting now. With regard to this stretch right over here, I've mentioned this in other videos, but there's this concept in physical therapy known as passive insufficiency. Because the long head of the triceps crosses multiple joints, the shoulder and the elbow, if we maximally stretch the proximal attachment at the shoulder, it's going to be impossible to maximally stretch it at the distal attachment at the elbow. So you may not be able to get full elbow flexion, but you want to get as much elbow flexion as possible. And relax. We've got one more each side. So we're going to do 30 seconds starting now. And go. So pull across, push that elbow back so you can get into as much flexion as possible. Try to flex that elbow as much as you can, and actively press that elbow toward the sky. We're almost done. We've got 10 more seconds. Then we got one more pass on the left side or the right side if you're doing the left side right now. And then we are all done for day 12 of the 80 Days to Your Dream Body course. And come out of it. We got one more 30 seconds starting now. So really focus on pulling that elbow across, bringing the arm back, elbow up to the sky. Keep that retroversion of the pelvis to keep the thoracolumbar fascia under tension, to keep the lats under tension, to keep the posterior aspect of the shoulder under tension. That's all going to enhance the stretch. We're almost done. We've got 5 seconds left, and then you guys can leave me and curse me. And slowly come out of it. And that concludes day 12 of the 80 Days to Your Dream Body course. Let me know what you guys thought of today's workout. Let me know what you guys thought of today's food. But otherwise, I will let you guys go, and I will see you again tomorrow. Thanks for sticking around until the end of the video. Be sure to like, share, and leave a comment, as it'll help the algorithm. And if you enjoyed the content, show your support by subscribing to the channel by clicking on the icon in the bottom right corner. And if you really want to show your support, then consider becoming a member by clicking on the icon in the bottom left corner. These new high-quality videos aren't cheap to edit, and the $5 membership will really help with the video editing budget. You'll also get access to a ton of exclusive perks, like early access to videos and this program design lecture playlist in the top right-hand corner. And if you want to learn how to do a one-armed pull-up, then check out the playlist on the top left corner.